Hey guys, welcome to Mission IAS and I am your friend Asif Sayed. So guys, we have started a series on ancient Indian history and we already have posted 2 videos on YouTube and this is third video on Vedic period. So guys, before we starting Vedic period, if you are new to this channel and if you are watching this channel first time, please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon and you will get all the notifications of our video. So guys, before starting Vedic period, we need to know about Aryan people. So what Aryan peoples were? So Aryan peoples were inhabitant of southern Russia and central India. This region was the place where these people inhabited. They were nomadic and pastoralist. They were wandering here and there for good in the search of good pastures, and they were nomadic. Their life were nomadic. Then these Aryans were linguistic group, not racial. They used to speak languages, okay, various kind of languages they used to speak, and some of language initially these Aryans language were written in Mitanni, Hittite and Kassite inscription. These were the three inscription in which these Aryan languages were being written. So one of such branch of these Aryans came to India and brought Sanskrit language with them. Now the language that we are using, the Sanskrit language, this is brought by these Aryans people that came to India. Initially the Sanskrit was in Shruti tradition. Shruti tradition means oral tradition, okay. It used to be transferred by generation by generation through voice, okay. It was not in the form of written material, or it was not kind of there was not available any writing of that on that time in case of Sanskrit. So Rig Veda was compiled in Sanskrit first. It is first literature that is in Sanskrit. It was initially in oral tradition. Even Rig Veda was also in oral before, and only after coming of Buddha and Mahavira, when these two people came, the people started to write Sanskrit in Brahmini script. So this was the script of writing Sanskrit, that is Brahmini inscription or Brahmini script, in which the Sanskrit was being written. This was the first book that was compiled by the Aryans, okay. Rig Veda was the first book that was compiled by the Aryans and gives important information of Rig Vedic polity, economy and society. These information, this all the study that we are doing today about this Vedic period comes from this Rig Veda. Contemporary of Rig Veda is Avesta, where Iranian text Avesta, where commonplaces are mentioned. Example, some Indian rivers are mentioned in Avesta, and Iranian hinterland is mentioned in our Rig Veda. So this kind of temporary text were also available there. Avesta was Iranian and Rig Veda was Indian. These were contemporary to each other. So guys, this Vedic period is long enough and it is divided into two parts basically. First is early Vedic period, which is called Rig Vedic period, and its time is 1500 to 1000 BC. And second part is later Vedic period, which is between 1000 to 600 BC. So here we would basically see the early Vedic period, its characteristic, its polity, then its religious functions. These all things we would cover here in the both point of view for UPSC and prelim. UPSC prelim and mains also. So do watch this complete video. So important river of this Vedic period were Sindhu river, which is called Indus. It was the most important river, where beside this or around this river the Vedic period people were situated here. So Saraswati, which is called Harkhavati, okay, in Sanskrit, was also very sacred river, but nowadays it is not there. At that time point of time it was there, but nowadays it is covered, or it is gone completely under the sands of Rajasthan, and this area now, the area is covered by Ghaggar river or comes under the area of Ghaggar river. So Bias, which is called Vibas, Jhelum, Vitasta, then Chenab, Askini, Satluj, Sutudri and Ravi, Porushani. These were some important rivers of that period. So we would talk about the economy of early Vedic period or Rig Vedic period. So guys, economy in the first Cattle was the greatest wealth of these Rigvedic people. Okay, cattle, they used to do everything for the cattle, always in search of good pasture and land. So to feed these cattle, they used to wander here and there in search of good pasture land, and in the same quest they might came into India. So mention more than 170 times the following names, the cattle. Okay, the cattle's name is mentioned in the following, as these names are mentioned about cattle in Rigveda more than 176. So Gavisti means war that was fought for the cows, or its meaning is search for cows. There used to be fought the war in search of these cows. Then Gavaya, Gosu, Gopajanya, these are the some names that are given in Rigveda for cow or cattle. So Aganya was there. It is terminology which is important in point of view UPSC, especially prelims के लिए it is important. So Aganya, it means which should not be killed. So this is the meaning of this term Aganya, which should not be killed, or it is a kind of sin. Even today we say कि ये आपने इसने बहुत जघन्य पाप किया है, this kind of. So जघन्य means a kind of bad thing, that it which should not be killed. This is the meaning of this term. So this is used in reference to the cows or cattle. Then it shows economic value of cattle and not the sacred value. Later on, the economically this was very important at that time, and this term shows us the economic value. We would see in next slide here. Then Gogna was also important, is also important terminology. It means eating beef. The people used to eat the beef of cattle or cow. So it was reference to meal that was served to the guest. When the guest used to arrive at the home of the people of this age or this period used to serve the guest meat of these cows and cattle, and it was kind of the respect that was given to this guest, as the very important or wealth of these people was the cow, and they were serving their wealth to their guests. So this kind of thing were there. No taxation was there, but some voluntary contributions like bali was given to their tribal, the people, the head of tribes. Then IAS, that means the copper or bronze. So this kind of business also, or they might be using copper and bronze at that time. Now we would see polity of this period. So most important functionary was Rajan, and he was basically a tribal chief. So what was his work? His work was to organize battle against his adversaries to secure cattle. So I already said that the cattle was the wealth of this period. Okay, wealth of this period, that was materialistic wealth, not sacred wealth. Okay, तो ये अपनी दौलत इसको materialistic जो तो इनकी ये wealth थी इस time में, cows. So they used to fight for it. He was supported by 3 assemblies. These assemblies are Sabha, Samiti and Vidhata. Now what is Sabha? It is most important and older or elder group of elder people. This is a group of elder people, and elder people are participated in this Sabha. Women were also allowed in this Sabha, and it was kind of legislative body which used to form rules for their tribes. Then second was the Samiti. It was also important and performed political and judicial functions. Okay, and then Vidhata. Here in this Samiti, women were not allowed, but in Vidhat, solving powerful disputes between tribes, and women were part of this. And according to historians, it was associated with religious functions. It might be performed kind of religious functions at that time. So another important functionaries that were helping to the king are Purohit, in which priests are contained. Then Senani, the poor people which have a kind of skill of using weapons, that may be spears and all other things, sword and knives, this kind of things they might be using. Then Vrajapati was also there. It was the authority over pasture ground and village. Initially a head of fighting horse called Gramini. Okay, Gramini, he was initially Gramini, who used to fight, or who used to head his team to fighting the battle, and later on his power increased, and then he become head of village. Okay, he become head of village, and after then he got some kind of power again, and then he became Vrajapati he used to call, which was the highest authority over the village. So we need to need to learn about this Rajan War, which is known as the Battle of 10 Kings. So this took place within Rig Vedic period. So we would see, as you know, the Bharat was the most important clan of Aryans. So Bharata was the important clan, and it was headed by the priest Vishwamitra. Okay, and with the help of Vishwamitra, Bharata ruler, who was Sudas, was Bharata ruler at that time. He captured three or four areas in northwestern frontier, in the side of Afghanistan, Pakistan. This side he captured 3 or 4 areas, but later on what happened, he rejected, or he transferred him, or he replaced his priest, who replaced Bharata ruler, or the Sudas replaced this priest Vishwamitra with he replaced Vishwamitra with Vashishtamitra. Okay, so Vashishtamitra was a kind of person, he was considered at that time very knowledgeable person of that time. Therefore he was now Vishwamitra was insulted. Okay, so he was replaced and he was given a kind of lower position. Okay, so the people used to thought that Vashishtamitra was greatest than Vishwamitra. So here Vishwamitra was insulted, and therefore he decided to take revenge against this Sudas. Therefore what he did, he organized a kind of battle, okay, in which 5 Aryan kings and 5 non-Aryan kings were participated. In 5 Aryan kings, Sudas was one of them. So this fight was fought near on the bank of Parushani river. Okay, and then onwards whole territory came to be known as the Bharatvarsha. The battle in which territory was fought, all the territories was owned by Sudas, and then all the territories came to be known as Bharatvarsha. So later on Purus were defeated over here, and Bharata were won. So these two people came together, both were Aryan. So bhai banke ek साथ आए, and they form a Kurus, that is new ruling tribe they form over there. So now we would see society. There were kind of 3 types of people generally, one of them priest, then warriors, and common men. So in battle, defeated were known as Das, and defeated non-Aryans were known as Dasyu. So the people which were defeated by these Aryan kings, if they used to, or they happens to be the Aryan, they used to call Das. And if the people that defeated happen to be non-Aryans, they used to be called Dasyu. And these Dasyu people used to be indigenous people, or that may be the Indian people at that time. So the Dases, as they were Aryan, they were given better treatment. Okay, though they were lost, but they were given better treatment, and many times it seems that they possessed some higher official positions. But in case of Dasyu, who used to be non-Aryan, their condition, their treatment was very bad. Okay, they were not given any better treatment, rather they were enslaved. Okay, they used to be enslaved, and in many instances Dasyu Hatya also happened there. These Dasyu people used to be murdered, used to be killed. Then the society was patriarchal, and people wished to have Suvira. So what is Suvira? Suvira is brave son, because the brave son will fought wars. Therefore the people wish to have Suvira and not Kuvira, and Kuvira is weak son, which with their weakness. So the people used to wish this Suvira. Then Kula Kula was a kind of, these are some terminologies. Kulas were used for family, then Viz used for clan, and the clan was divided into grama or smaller tribal unit, and Jana was also another word for tribes. So grama was a community which is divided, okay, which was the form of divided Viz. So head of the family was called Kulapa, and society of this period was based on kingship or clan based, okay, in this time. So women were given respectable position in the society, and they were allowed to participate in sabha vidhata, okay, not in samiti, and some even they used to participate in religious functions and rituals also. So women could choose their partner, life partner. They used to marry with the person that they liked, and this vyavastha or this system used to be called Gandharva Vivaha, okay, where the woman choose her partner. So Niyog Vivaha means remarriage of widow, and it was also prevalent in that period. So no we do not found any instances of child marriages, and people were not this where it is WERE, sorry for typing mistakes. So people were married only after attaining puberty, or their age was about 16 to 17 year. When they become this age, they used to marry, and women were allowed a kind of education, that may be then religious education, that may be. So we would see here some religious practices that used to followed in this period. So the people personified God with nature, and as you know, here was not a single kind of temple in that period. So Indra was their most important Rigvedic god, and he was also known as Purandar, which means breaker of fort. He was kind of, he was a war god, okay. He was called, if you want to call in another word, then it is kind of war god, also known as the god of rain, and he was most aggressive and rowdy god, okay. As you know, it is war god, then he must be aggressive at that time. So Agni was the second important god, considered as god of cosmetic order. So it is kind of, it is defined as or considered as intermediary god, okay, to Agni, because they used to think that the fog that go from this Agni, okay, so it goes to the heaven or goes to the god, and it makes contact between people and the god, therefore it is called as intermediary or intermediate between these people. And third important god was Varuna, which was called god of water. Varuna was god of water. Then Soma was also there, it was considered as god of plant, and Soma was, as you know, Soma was using or being used as intoxicating drink, kind of nasha used to be in this plant. There were also some female god, but they were not prominent, and that were Usha and Aditi, and some others also were there which was not defined, but their existence was not that much prominent in this period. And the purpose of worship was to obtain material reward. For example, if a person wants a son, okay, brave son, then he used to worship, not for the spiritual purpose that he want to go heaven or something, this kind of concept, but they used to just for material reward, okay, materialistic thing, that like son and property and wealth, this kind of, they used to worship for these things. So made of worships were their sacrifice, they used to sacrifice something, some things. Then they used to perform yajnas, we would discuss in later on, and they used to sacrifice some foods, vegetables, they used to donate these things. So guys, this was the Rigvedic period. I hope you might have understand all these things that are important in the Rigvedic period. And if you know all the aspects that are important for UPSC prelims and mains are covered over here. So you just, if you focus these things, that then I don't think you need to go for book to go reading on. So just to focus on this, listen it carefully, and I have uploaded the same file in the description. Link is available in description, you can download that file there. So guys, if you have not subscribed 8 Mission IAS, please subscribe, and if you like the video, then hit the like button, and if you dislike, then also hit the dislike button. And if you have conflict with any concept, any that you haven't understand anything from this video, then write it comments in comment section. The next video will be on that. So guys, thank you.